The World Wrestling Federation. For over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
Oh, it's live, pal.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Everybody three count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Or maybe The Rock has got to beat Triple H himself, which means he's got to beat the game in the middle of the ring. And he has a $2 for a wife.
You're too damn selfish, and that's why you're sitting there with a bad leg, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
3 ain't enough now, I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
Oh my goodness, what do we do? There's a 1, there's a 2. Oh, wow.
So make no mistake about it, this is an official declaration of war. This is what you call a paradigm shift.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 3 Count Thursday, live here on our Facebook page. I think I have to unmute everybody now, or ask them to unmute. It's a new thing. But welcome into the show. It is Thursday, August 27th, 2020. We are the podcast of the millennium. We have tons to talk about this week, including will Ryan admit that he was wrong? Our top 5, and there's another pay-per-view. Yes, another pay-per-view. But first, make sure you go to 3countthursday.com. That's our homepage. You can get all of our social media links. We have our Patreon page, our merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net.
What a maneuver.
Thank you, Tim. We have our home network, of course, NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We stream daily at Leeb Sports. Ryan, that would be
LEEIBsports.com.
That's the one. And our YouTube channel and much, much more, again, 3countthursday.com. So another week. Matt not with us this week. He is officially moving tomorrow. So we wish him the best on the move. Moving sucks. But hopefully it goes smoothly for him. Ryan,
How you doing?
I'm okay. No complaints.
good.
Not gonna stir anything up today. Everybody's fine and happy. We're all friends here. Nothing to talk about. Let's move on.
Very good. Tim.
How you doing?
I'm great. No complaints here either, except for, the usual.
Sure, that's fair. Intern Mark.
How you doing?
I'm okay. Thanks for having me.
Good. Well, we're glad
Great
you're
to
here,
see
intern
everybody.
Mark.
Oh,
We-
shucks.
Hi, Mark.
Thanks.
We like that you're here.
Thanks,
And
Marky.
I forgot to turn my ringer off on my phone, so you probably just heard my ringer go off.
Professional podcast, by the way.
Yeah, it's a day. It's a day.
Look, if we need to be a little unprofessional today,
Sure.
Can we borrow that from you guys, fam? Can we do that? Can we be a little unprofessional today?
When are we professional? To borrow unprofessionalism.
We got
Every
Jason,
Thursday we're professional.
AEW fan Jason joining us. I'm sure he has Dynamite on a TV somewhere.
We're podcasting during Dynamite.
We are podcasting during
Oh
Dynamite.
no, I need my iPad. Oh no,
I have it on a separate screen right over here. There's a tag team match. Shocking.
tag team.
A tag team match opens up Dynamite.
Is it a 4-on-4?
No, this one's just a regular 2-on-2.
Regular.
I think there's a 4-on-4, a 6-on-6, and a 13-on-13 coming up later in the show.
Tonight is Tag Team Appreciation Night, so that makes sense.
Right. Exactly.
No, it's not.
Devin with us, how you doing? Other Jason, how you doing? And Lou says, wait, this is a professional show?
Lou gets it.
Maybe sometimes.
Come on, man.
Come on now. Uh-oh. What did I click on? Oh, I clicked on an ad. Get out of here. Go
Advertisement.
back.
Well, there
Stupid
goes
ad.
the professionalism. God damn it.
Son of a bitch. We were going so well too that how dare that happen. And Jim says, what's up, guys? Great show. Thank you. Not me, Jim, another Jim.
Okay, burner account, Jim.
Look, if I could create a burner account and actually type to ourselves while look, there's a Jim in there. Say something, Jim.
Hello.
But,
I hear him. Hello, Jim.
All right, let's well, Jason says we've had professional moments. Nikki back with us this week. If you're following along in the live video, give it a share. Get as many people in here as possible. We'd appreciate that. Let's get into our recurring weekly segment to try and get back on track before we get off track again. So here we are, August the 27th. Three birthdays today. Jazz was born 1973. Ryan,
Happy birthday, Jazz.
Are you drinking a beer?
What?
Were you drinking a beer, Ryan? What are you drinking?
It's a Arnold Palmer spiked twisted tea.
Those are
half and half.
tasty. Those are tasty.
Fantastic. Look, if I have to eat crow, I'm doing it intoxicated tonight.
Oh, there we go. Smart man. The Great Khali in 1972 and Sergeant Slaughter 1948. 3 birthdays today. This was a big day for SummerSlams, by the way. So let's jump all the way back to 1990. SummerSlam took place at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. The announced attendance was 19,304. The show featured 11 matches plus a dark match with Shane Douglas defeating Buddy Rose. Sounds like a real burner on that one.
That's the main event anywhere.
The Intercontinental title and tag titles changed hands, but the WWE Championship was retained in the second of 2 main events. The show, of course, also featured the storyline Sapphire turning her back on Dusty Rhodes for the $1 million main. Sweet Sapphire.
Sapphire had a price.
Everybody did. 1994, a pivotal moment in the history of wrestling as Eastern Championship Wrestling became Extreme Championship Wrestling during a show at the ECW Arena in South Philadelphia. The show is based around a tournament to determine a new NWA World Champion, as ECW was a NWA member at the time. Current ECW heavyweight champion Shane Douglas won the tournament, but of course threw down the NWA belt, proclaimed himself as the ECW World Heavyweight Champion. The name change from Eastern to Extreme took place and would be announced several days later on ECW TV. The NWA, represented by the late Dennis Coralluzzo, was left confused. ECW had legitimately swerved the NWA with the whole angle, to the point that Coralluzzo even taped an interview for ECW television afterwards, not realizing he was playing into their hands. ECW separated from the NWA and began the era of Extreme. And then in 1995, WWE SummerSlam took place at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, announced attendance of 18,062. The show featured 9 matches. Bertha Faye defeated then WWE Women's Champion Alundra Blaze for the only title change on the show. The show's best match, of course, Shawn Michaels defeating Razor Ramon in a ladder match for the Intercontinental title. The main event was WWE Champion defeating King Mabel to retain his title in under 10 minutes. SummerSlam 2000 took place in the Raleigh Entertainment and Sports Arena, announced attendance of 17,002. Show featured 10 matches. China became, oh wait, do I have it? I gotta find it.
China.
Became the Intercontinental Champion after intergender tag match for the title when China pinned Trish Stratus. The WWE's first TLC match took place with Edge and Christian defeating the Dudleys and Hardy Boys for the tag titles, and the main event of the show featured The Rock defeating Triple H and Kurt Angle to retain the WWE Championship. And then finally, in 2014, the El Rey Network officially announced the launch of Lucha Underground.
How's that show doing?
Oh, not great. Not
coronavirus?
It's on right after Wrestling Society X.
Oh, so they got picked up
Right
by
after
MTV?
MTV got it, yes.
All those events happened August the 27th. All right, so obviously we were on the air Sunday. We previewed SummerSlam, but we didn't really talk about NXT TakeOver because Ryan had been away, and we wanted to give him the opportunity because I believe it was a week ago on this show that Ryan declared how horrible it was that Pat McAfee was going to be in a match and all of this. So Ryan, I think, actually pre-taped portion of what he's about to say. So I think I have that here.
I'm stupid. You're smart. I was wrong. You were right. You're the best. I'm the worst. You're very good looking. I'm not attractive.
All right. As long as you're willing to admit that.
So Ryan,
some of that was true. Some of that was true.
I assume by now you've had a chance to absorb NXT TakeOver and the match of the year, if you will. We'll start with you, Ryan. Your thoughts on Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole. Bay.
I can't get over how great Adam Cole did putting Pat McAfee over in that match and making Pat McAfee look like $1 million. Adam Cole, baby, earned every cent that he got paid that night, making that chump, Pat McAfee, look good in what he did. I'm sorry, it was a much better match than I said it would be. It did not lower my grade for NXT TakeOver. In fact, it raised it up. And later on tonight, when we talk about our top 5 superstars, and Adam Cole is very high on that list, moments like we saw this past Saturday are the reason why.
So you're just not going to give Pat much credit?
I will say this. They did not, meaning the WWE, do Pat McAfee a ton of favors by putting like the really athletic leap to the top ropes in the preview package for Pat McAfee when he then pulls it out in the ring during the match. Had I not seen that moment, I'd have been like, wow, that was really cool. But we just saw that moment 15 minutes earlier in the preview package hyping up Pat McAfee. So I think they could have done without things like that. Showed him that he was training, that's fine, but don't show like that really cool athletic spot and then have him do that spot in the ring. They didn't do him any help doing that, in my opinion. He did fine. He did a really good job. I'm not going to shit you guys. Pat McAfee, I thought it was a great match. I love that he kicked the steps. It weakened his big arsenal piece, meaning the punt kick. Yeah, it was a fantastic match. Both Pat McAfee and Adam Cole did a fantastic job. Adam Cole a little bit better.
Okay, I mean, sure. I mean, Adam Cole, and I said leading up to it that the reason why, not the reason why, but one of the reasons why that match was going to work was because of how good Adam Cole is. So like, and he's a guy that can be afforded, because I think everybody was mad that he wasn't going to have a title shot on TakeOver and all of that. I wasn't necessarily one of those people, but I was skeptical. So even I will admit to a degree that I was wrong to be as skeptical as I was. I wasn't quite in the Ryan camp, but I was a little nervous. I was like, okay, you're Adam Cole, I believe, at least in terms of him getting an eventual call up to Raw or SmackDown. I don't know how many takeovers Adam Cole has left. So to put him in this match, I was a little nervous. I was wrong. This match was fantastic. This match is on my list of matches for top 5 at the end of the year.
Oh, you're a real son of a bitch.
Will it make the top 5? I don't know.
You're unreal.
But it is on the list because far exceeded expectations. It absolutely, like, was it the greatest match ever? No, I'm not going to pretend it was. I'm not going to say that it's 7 stars in Japan, Dave Meltzer, or anything like that. But because of where I was going into it and the level of like excitement and the fact that it was the best match on the night, that's something that earns a spot to at least be in consideration for top 5. Tim, any other thoughts on Cole and Mr. McAfee?
Nothing that hasn't already been said. I'm not mad at Ryan's take that he's going to give praise to Adam Cole. Like, it obviously takes two to tango. You can't have a match where one person is dead weight and the other person is really good. And
have you ever watched a Tamina match?
None of those.
It happens.
There's never been
matches.
There's never been a single Tamina match that I thought was the best match on the card.
That's a fair point. That's fair.
Yeah, at least Pat McAfee can do 2 things really well instead of Tamina's super kick. Like, that's about it. But shocker, Adam Cole is great at professional wrestling. That's not necessarily like the hottest take in the history of wrestling.
Right.
Either.
I'm not trying to give a hot take. I'm really not.
By the way, Adam Cole so I know I'm going to jump ahead on news a little bit, but Jon Moxley, number 1 in the PWF 500, Adam Cole, number 2.
Rightfully
so. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. That is one thing I want to discuss, the top 10. But yeah, let's continue. Mark, any other thoughts on Cole or McAfee?
I'll tell you what, I was really not looking forward to that match, but I was pleasantly surprised. Honestly, and I was thinking about it, and you guys can throw your opinion in there. Was there ever a better celebrity wrestling match than the one we just saw on TakeOver? Because I cannot think of one that was as competitive.
The closest one I would think is Stephen Amell. And if you put Stephen Amell with Adam Cole, what are you going to get?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't. Yeah. I can't think of a better celebrity match.
I think that the standard for celebrity wrestling matches, and it's not even necessarily fair because it's not necessarily a wrestling match so more as it is like an angle that took place during a wrestling match. But I'm always going to be partial to Money Mayweather versus The Big Show. Like that match at WrestleMania delivered, was exciting, entertaining, and even though you suspend your disbelief because in any other arena, The Big Show should destroy Floyd Mayweather. But it's professional wrestling. It worked, and yeah, but this is honestly really high on the list. It helped Pat McAfee's a professional athlete and is also a wrestling fan who trained to get there.
But I think McAfee's now said that he wants a match with Triple H, and I'm like, sure, sign us up for that. I'd be fine with it. Like I think. Well, here let's go around on this one, and then we'll discuss any other matches if you want to. Do we think we see more Pat McAfee matches in NXT and or on WWE? Ryan, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
You sound very disappointed. Tim, what do you think?
I don't think so. Like, if you do, you have to build it some type of way. I don't think you're just going to put Pat McAfee. He's not going to become a part of the active roster. I don't foresee that. And the reason why this Cole thing worked is because it slow built over like 2 years. And it went from something that was just like a babyface commentator joshing on the heel to actually coming to blows in the wrestling ring. It would have to be something really special for McAfee to get in there with another person, because I don't know who it would be in NXT, like who his target would be.
Sure. And I guess that's where the potential Triple H match could make sense, because, you know, Triple H came to the defense of Adam Cole and you know, kind of went at McAfee a little bit, and you know, like him and Shawn Michaels, you know, kind of chased him off the night that he punted Adam Cole, you know, a couple weeks back. So, you know, that's potentially where that could go in. I think we could see it happening. Mark, do you think we see any more of Pat McAfee?
Yes. I was just trying to be like Ryan. Yeah, I think we will.
The two sad guys.
Right. Possibly with a match with Triple H. I think they planted some seeds. I don't know that we'll see that in the next 6 months, but maybe down the road. Possibly. I wouldn't be mad at it.
Could you see an NXT star be like, hey, kid, you gave it a good shot. If you ever feel like trying again, here's my number. And that's just how it kind of starts again, like a Johnny Wrestling or something. I don't know. He wouldn't call Pat McAfee kid, but something like that to try again.
Possibly, you know.
I don't know. Because, like, there's no one in NXT right now aside from Adam Cole who's Adam Cole. Like, is cocky and braggadocious and is also on top of his game.
Fair.
Like,
fair.
I just can't see anyone in their character right now, like, that would one, do it, but also two, like, be trusted enough to be in that position. That's the next thing too.
Yeah, that's critical.
Because if you, I mean, Johnny Gargano, sure, because I mean, Pat McAfee just had a match with NXT Shawn Michaels, so why not put him in there with NXT Shawn Michaels again?
Sure.
I mean, that's the Gargano way, you know? Like, just do everything Shawn did. Look at your hands. Oh my gosh, did I do this? Why didn't that work?
And then obviously
Gargano, my goodness.
I don't care for Johnny Gargano anymore.
Just salty as hell, man.
Well,
we're fat. It's summertime. It's natural.
When you eat the same meal for a year, eventually you just get sick of the taste of peanut butter.
Ryan doesn't. Ryan literally eats the same like 6 things on a rotating.
That's not entirely true. I've expanded to 7 or 8. At work, totally unrelated. The guy doesn't watch the podcast, but there's a guy I work with that legitimately thinks Lay's stacks are better than Pringles.
Can you fire him?
Have you heard of anything more insane?
Same question. Can you fire him?
Big guy's speechless at a food question. It's unreal.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Yeah,
That's all.
Eat Jesus. What is that?
Who hired that guy? How do you even get a job?
Right.
He was there, but he was there when I showed up.
He was incumbent. Oh.
What the hell is even that?
That's what I said.
I don't know.
Gosh, dude. Pringles.
Hey, let's ask the audience. What's the worst food take? What's the worst food take you've ever had? Like a friend say, like they swear by this. Like this is the best thing ever. Hosses is okay.
Yeah, okay.
But like,
Hosses is fine. But Hosses should never be considered
the
great.
The greatest in its thing. Like
it's not the great. Like it's like Friendlies. Like I enjoy going to Friendlies, but I know what I'm getting. It's not great, but I've never had a bad experience at Friendly's.
You get the super melt, I assume?
Generally speaking, yes.
With the chicky tenders and the barbecue sauce? That's delicious.
most times. If I stray off of that one, it's usually for chicken tenders. Like,
right, it's chicken tenders, fries, and coleslaw. You can't muff that up.
Like, I'm not, like if Friendly's came out with sushi, I'm not going to try it. Like, like and I'm a person, and Ryan, like I will try new foods. Me, like, you go to Friendly's, there's a status quo there. Like, and I will stick with it. But obviously with NXT as well, you had the injury to Karrion Kross last night, forfeiting the title.
What a shame.
You're not really a fan.
What
right?
a shame, man. To a nicer guy, it couldn't happen.
Oh wow!
God, you're acting like he hit somebody. Get the hell
I just don't like Karrion Kross. He's bland. You take Scarlett away, what is he? Shamrock? Ken Shamrock with tattoos and no energy
and no hair.
Isn't that what he's supposed to be though? Like, him turning over the belt was probably one of the best relinquishing of the belts I've ever seen. Big thing, got to the pinnacle, lays it down, she flips the thing, tick-tock. I thought it was great. It's exactly what he is.
Right. Like, I get that. But I don't like that. I don't like him. I don't care for him.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe if he was a punter for a goddamn NFL team, you'd like him a little more.
Maybe.
And what if he lost his smile?
Pisses me off. That pisses me right off.
I didn't think Killer Kross was any good. I don't like Karrion Kross. Like,
here's the deal. I actually think that in the long run for both him and for NXT, this is a great thing. Like, because he had the the quick ascent. They actually flipped the switch and gave him the title, which at times companies do not do. Now he has the injury, so some of the players that people thought maybe, Balor should be in the title hunt. Cole shouldn't have dropped the title when he did, and so on and so forth. So now you now go to next week on Tuesday night. Don't forget NXT Tuesday night next week.
Super Tuesday.
You have the Iron Man match: Gargano, Cole, Balor, and who's the fourth? Ciampa. That's right. So
Tomato champs.
Tomato champ.
Right? How did I forget that one? I'm an idiot.
Tomato chips.
And for good measure, I'm an idiot. So who do we think next week on Super Tuesday comes out as champion? Tim, we'll start with you.
Can you hit the sounder again?
Yes.
Tomato chips.
Yes. Especially since Karrion Kross laid the belt down. Karrion Kross put Tomato Champs asleep in 4 minutes in your house. If anyone's got beef for a return bout, it's the Tommaso Ciampa man. Like,
that's true.
And he looks hecka tough right now, going back to Psycho Killer. Like, that mask is nuts. Like, we've seen it. Like, we've seen the mask a million times, and yet it still's like, oh, where'd that come from?
Yeah, that's
awesome. And also Tomato Champ also has he has the claim of being another person who's never lost the NXT title. He had to vacate it. So it's a good redemption story for him. It'll be an equally sweet one for Karrion Kross when he returns. So Tomato Champ.
Oh, cool. The ex-WWE guys just became the number one contenders on AEW.
Say yeah.
There's a shock. Ryan, who do you have winning the NXT championship next week?
First of all, I want to say how disappointed I am that they had the opportunity to bring somebody from the main roster. And I guess maybe they still could have like somebody surprise show up, but I was waiting to hear like Kevin Owens as part of this tournament, which I thought would have been really cool.
The way Regal was presenting it.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of had that thought a little bit too.
Oop, we got a delivery in the screen. Who is it?
Eat, goddammit.
Pizza? False alarm. Hate to see it.
It was early.
Hate to see
I
it.
put an order in. It's nothing extravagant this week, boys.
You could have had Aleister Black. I guess other people are wrapped up in a feud right now. So I don't know. I'm gonna have Adam Cole. I think if they're not gonna pull him up to the main roster, might as well be the standard bearer and be the champion in your promotion.
How about you, Mark?
Well, I'd like to see Balor take it, but I think it's going to be Tomato Champ. I think we're going to see the return of the Tomato Champ. You know, when he had his heel run, I thought he was one of the best heels in WWE. And then he kind of turned that fan favorite and he lost some of his edge, I think. So it's nice to see him back as that heel.
Yeah, I think it's going to be either Cole or
Tomato chips.
But the guy I would love to see win it is Balor. I feel like he and since going back down, I just feel like there was so much hype when he showed up on NXT and he was back in NXT, and since then it's just been kind of like, he's there.
I'm just afraid that if we get Finn Balor as NXT World Champion and then Karrion Kross comes for Finn Balor, that we're going to go back to the Demon for some reason. Like, and I don't want the Demon to mix with the Prince.
Well, the
Demon
if
away.
If you can believe what you read on the internet, he doesn't want to he doesn't want to be the Demon anytime in the foreseeable future, and the WWE does not want to use the Demon in anytime in the foreseeable future. For what it's worth. Again, I read that on the internet, so you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Makes sense. There's no fans.
Right. So, from now till, let's plan at least until
SummerSlam 2021.
Fingers crossed, Royal Rumble.
Grapplemania.
Let's hope for the Royal Rumble. But more likely, probably looking at like springtime, WrestleMania time. At the earliest, my guess would be like, and again, Royal Rumble, that's going to be the saddest Royal Rumble, because by that point, the morons in the Thunderdome are going to get that portion of the dome gone. That's going to be gone. I'm willing. I think we're going to be lucky to have fans in the Thunderdome by the end of September, the way things are going.
Man, I wish people came through my door and gave me food.
That
Son of a bitch.
popcorn?
Come on, eat, goddammit.
What are we getting over there? Tim getting all excited. He's rolling around on the chair. What is happening? What is happening in Casa de Tim?
Guys, if you're not watching our video, you got to check us out. If you're listening to the podcast feed.
You really need to check out the video. If you're not, there's just a floating hand just continually handing food and items to Tim. And now Tim's
are there champagne flutes?
So that person, that's Arnold. It's the disembodied arm.
Okay.
Are we good?
Arnold.
We good?
Thank you, Arnold.
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 Arnold. Like, hey, Arnold.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold.
All right, let's go around the room. Let's grade.
What are you talking about, Willis?
Let's grade NXT Takeover number 30. I'm going to give this an A. There was a few matches that weren't perfect, but with the Cole and McAfee match being what it was, I'll give it an A. I thought it was a really fun show. Tim, we'll go to you.
For
grades? I got a mouthful.
We're doing grades?
You were doing grades.
For NXT, A+.
Absolutely. I didn't doubt anything else from you.
No. So honestly, it's like a B+. NXT gave us the traditional, boring NXT World Championship match that we've come to know and tolerate from NXT. We went back into the Wayback Machine, and you gave us like Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe. Ugh, not good. The women's title match I didn't think was all that impressive either. More mixed reviews on that than the world title match though. But yeah, solid B+.
Ryan, how about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it in the B range. I'm gonna go B-, pretty much for the reasons Tim had said, which is again higher than I thought I was going to give this with the Adam Cole and the Pat McAfee match. So, I don't know. The latter match was what I thought it was going to be. Again, didn't love that they didn't remove Velveteen Dream. That's another conversation for another time.
Thank God he did not win.
Right. I enjoyed the NXT Championship match. It's what I've come to expect from NXT, and I'm a fan. So if they keep banging out main event matches like that, I'm okay. Plus, the pre-show match set up Fandango and Tyler Breeze to finally get some gold in NXT. So all for that. Great job, Breezango. Love seeing that as the new tag team champion. I don't know if we were going to talk about NXT, but I wanted to squeeze that in there. Great for those guys. B-, but just the B-. Not even like not an 80%. I'm talking like that 83% B-.
So just on the lower side of the flat B.
You know what?
I like it.
I'm gonna give it a B because Adam Cole and Pat McAfee surprised me. I'm gonna give it a B.
Kobe.
Intern Mark, your grade for Takeover.
Well, my mind is saying B+, but my heart is saying A. And I think the lack of the crowd being there is I always love the NXT crowds because they're so into the takeovers. But I thought it was a very good, solid show. I'm going to go with an A.
Very good. So Mark and I are on the A land. RSGP says, wait, I'm late to the feed. Matt isn't here, but the Fiend won. Matt, he asked for a night off. HR approved a night off because he's moving this weekend. So it has nothing to do with the Fiend. Devin gave the show an A. Nikki gave the show a B. So let's flip the script here and let's go to Sunday. Now I gave my long-winded SummerSlam recap on a separate pod on the feed. So we don't have to go. We're not going to go match by match or anything like that. If there's a specific match you want to talk about, feel free. But obviously the big thing, and
the big thing.
Just fists are flying.
Dad's home.
This is why I'm really bummed that Matt's not here. Jason gave the takeover an A as well. I'm really bummed Matt isn't here because Matt and I we're going back and forth on Twitter about this one. It was a hot topic of conversation in our group chat this week. Obviously, the Fiend won the Universal title, and then immediately the big dog Roman Reigns, our friend and yours, returns to the WWE inside.
Roman Reigns, the guy with the biggest pecs. Roman Reigns, the guy who has lots of sex. Roman Reigns, the guy with the wettest hair. Roman Reigns, the guy who just doesn't care.
So again, Smart Mark Roommates on YouTube is where we pulled that from. Yeah, Rob points out he returned, but his teeth made their debut for this show. Man, all right, let's talk about it. I thought it was a great return. I thought it was a surprising return. Maybe not the most shocking, Matt, that WWE's big dog returned to the WWE. But again, the reason he left, as we were told, is a thing that is still ongoing. So the pandemic it's not gone away. Okay. It's still here. It's still present. Corona mania is still running wild, brother.
Correct. However, when he left, he saw what WWE was doing and their preventative measures to stop corona, like to stop it from spreading within their own camps.
So nothing when he left.
Correct.
Right,
nothing.
when he left.
Right.
No,
Right.
you know,
Okay.
So now they've moved to a bigger venue than cramming everyone into the performance center.
Well, and it's a more closed set than the performance center
Because
there's offices and things in the performance center.
Right.
So,
So
yes,
it's ideal circumstances for Roman, and also if he had his twins prior to WrestleMania, let's say the twins are prior to WrestleMania. We'll say they were 3 months old at WrestleMania. We don't know exactly when those twins were born.
No.
They're close to like a year now. So there's like, it's still a volatile time for the children, but like 9 months, like close to 9 months.
And also I think, you know, we've learned a little bit more about the virus and about testing and about, you know, the safety of services versus, you know, contracting it from somebody who's actually sick and all of that. So it is a little, you know, it is a little bit safer than obviously it was before. But yeah, I thought it was a great return. What happens coming out of it, we'll discuss. But Ryan, your thoughts on the big dog fisting his way back into the WWE?
I will tell you, Big Jim, we were all on board last Thursday talking about, and on Sunday, I'm doing my hands so you know I'm serious, talking about the importance of protecting the Fiend Bray Wyatt at all costs.
Don't be rude.
Super surprising that the #1 big superstar of the WWE comes back and returns at SummerSlam, the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. That is a swerve nobody would have saw coming. Nobody would have saw it. So I'm glad they tacked that tagline to a pay-per-view, because nobody saw their biggest superstar return to a wrestling event, which is the biggest event minus WrestleMania.
Mark, your thoughts.
We're into a microphone, you dick. I heard you.
Your thoughts on Roman Reigns' return?
Well, I bought the pay-per-view based on the tagline. I strictly buy pay-per-views based on taglines. If I like the taglines, I buy the pay-per-view. But I think Roman may have gotten that Russian vaccine against the coronavirus. That's what brought him back. I was surprised to see him. I'm not a huge Roman Reigns fan. I don't dislike him, but I'm not a huge fan. You know, I think it would have been better maybe to save him for another pay-per-view, like this Payback pay-per-view. But hey, it is what it is. So welcome back, Roman Reigns.
But see, this week, and you know, this is where he comes back and wins the title. No, like, oh, spoiler alert!
It's a triple threat match. He doesn't have to get pinned. He's in there and he's not going to win.
No, I saw actually.
Why wouldn't Roman Reigns eat the pin here? The show is called Payback.
I saw.
The Fiend gets his payback. Why wouldn't he lose?
I saw a great thing the other day that said that the match starts, the Fiend, the bell rings, and the Fiend, the lights go out, like do the Fiend's gone. Roman spears Braun and just walks away with the title. So the Fiend isn't even involved in the decision. But we'll get to Payback. Like, here's the thing, like, yes, I haven't abandoned Ryan. Don't worry, I haven't abandoned my need for the Fiend to be protected. Like, because yeah, Roman speared the Fiend, but he also attacked Braun Strowman. Like this was a kind of a multi-level attack. Now I'm curious to see where they go with this and how they present the full return and all of that tomorrow night on SmackDown. So I'm not 100%, this is great, this is perfect, everything's fine, but I'm also not in the camp of like, people that are, automatically just jumping and getting negative about it. The thing is, that some people I feel like are forgetting too, why is he in the title pick? Well, he had a title match at Mania. Like, it's not like he wasn't at the top of the card, when he walked away and took a break. So him being back, theoretically, and again, we don't, like whether he wins or not, that's where he was when he left. So I don't necessarily have an objection to Roman Reigns coming back in and being in the title picture right away either. Any thoughts, Tim, Ryan?
I completely
Your
agree.
take on that nobody saw coming.
God, you're insufferable.
It's a tagline, man.
That's right. Taglines don't mean anything. It's fine. It's just the tagline.
It matters.
Tagline sell pay-per-views.
Yes, it gets people in the door. After that, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't get people in the door. Us calling ourselves the podcast of the millennium, nobody listens to us because we say we're the podcast of the millennium.
We've
Nobody
got
listens
millions
to
of people listening to us right now.
It doesn't matter if Louis G. Rich gave it to us or not.
First,
it doesn't matter.
Don't you dare besmirch the title bestowed upon us by the great Louis G. Rich. Don't you dare.
Nobody went to an independent wrestling show because the wrestler of the millennium was booked. Louis G. Rich, you can be a Louis G. Rich fan all you want, but you're not going because he calls himself the wrestler of the millennium with a Dollar Tree freaking plaque that he bring around. Nobody goes because of that. I'm just telling exactly how it is. Nobody buys pay-per-views because of a tagline.
First off, I'm gonna be messaging Louis tonight.
That's fine.
Because
I've called plenty of Louis G. Rich matches. He knows how I feel.
Besmirch the great name of Louis G. Rich.
When did he hurt you?
Wrestler.
He didn't
Wrestler of
hurt
the
me.
millennium.
I'm just saying no one's going to hang out at a wrestling show because the self-proclaimed wrestler. It's a stupid tagline. Nobody buys shit because of taglines.
Man,
That's all I'm saying.
Wow, I don't even know how to respond to that.
He's so angry today.
He is
Ryan's
very
upset.
angry.
Be happy.
I feel like
Roman Reigns is back and he has brand new teeth.
He does have brand new teeth.
The newest.
Very newest.
I didn't realize he had bad teeth.
He didn't. He just bought Hollywood teeth.
Yeah, I was gonna say like they were. I think like they just weren't like totally fully like. They're kind of like mine, or they're not totally even. They're not totally squared off. And he got new teeth. It's okay. I like him.
Have you guys ever played the Karate Fighters game with the little thing in the leg? Remember that?
Yeah.
You owned that.
Yes.
Did you buy it because the tagline was a real hand-to-hand combat game?
Yes.
Or did you buy it because it looked cool and it had a cool name?
I bought it.
Bought it because of the tagline.
I bought it because the WWE had a Karate Fighters tournament.
That's a fair point. That's a really fair point because that's the reason I bought it.
So it was WWE's tagline for a tournament.
Had it not been WWE, I would have never owned Karate Fighters. That's fair.
Nikki says somebody needs a hug. Yeah, Ryan does need a hug.
Don't come near me. You probably have the coronavirus. Get the hell 6 foot back.
6 feet distant hugs, please.
Yeah. Well, I'll give somebody in your house, your niece or your mom or your dad. Somebody will give you a hug. We know you need a hug.
I don't want anybody to touch me. I don't want you touching me, Jim. I don't want Matt.
You don't have to
touching
worry
me.
about me touching you. I ain't touching anybody for the foreseeable future. I ain't touching shit.
I'll give an air too sweet to some people, and that's all I want to do.
Devin says, "Hey Ryan, who pissed in your Cheerios?"
Devin, go pound stand.
Oh Jesus!
Ryan's upset Maybe he's so
Wow,
upset about the
choking on
Pringles.
popcorn over there.
Why don't you go out back, Devin, and grab yourself a shovel and start digging a hole and don't stop till you reach water?
Jesus, my God, Ryan.
Stupid taglines.
Lou says that Ryan's still just angry because Chronic got robbed.
Thank you. Lou freaking gets me. Let's get Lou on this damn podcast once.
Rob Noxious says straight out of your mama's bedroom is a tagline and it sells his shirts. So don't, Ryan. I guarantee you that you have bought something in your life because of a tagline or a slogan. So don't sit there and act like you didn't.
Here's the deal. I saw Rob leaving my mom's bedroom once. So I don't know how. I mean, if taglines are true, are they taglines?
I think they still are. I think
For Mom Miller.
That's a fair point, Rob. I'll give you that. You got me on that, Rob.
There we go.
Son of a bitch. Why is Rob Noxious?
Didn't your parents just have a wedding out of
favor? In the comments, drop all the information about your show coming up because that sounds like a really good show.
Oh yeah, it's I think September 5th.
It's coming up.
September
I know
5th.
that.
Rob, drop the info for your show and we'll let
me know what the tagline of that show is, Rob, because I'm curious to hear that too.
Yeah, Rob brings another great one. Wendy said, "Where's the beef?"
Oh, I hear a tagline. That was
what was
big.
the one?
Where's the beef from the Wendy's commercials?
Wendy's has shitty tasting burgers. I don't like the burgers. Who ate a Wendy's burger because get the hell out of here? They're frozen or they're fresh, not frozen. That's why you eat them, not because.
Which is also a tagline.
Yeah, that's a tagline, brother.
No, it's not a tag. It's the truth. They are fresh, not frozen.
No, that is actually, but it's actually a tagline though. Burger
Next,
King.
you're gonna be like $5. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sick of you guys.
Ryan,
Wendy's burgers are square because they don't cut corners too.
Thank you, Mark. Now you get it.
Ryan,
I get it. They don't cut
I never
corners. That's why
walked
they're
into
square.
a Haas's Steak and Sea house because their tagline is Haas's is hospitality because it's a bullshit line and it's not true. I walk in because they got a decent salad bar and it usually gives me the squirts.
You almost didn't make it home the one time, I remember.
It was so bad. We were going to a wrestling show.
One time. There's been more than one time. I guarantee that.
Rob will know this. It was heading to the Lancaster Host Resort for a KPW show. And Rob, you probably know like the Route 30. I had to stop at the Wawa, which is less than a mile away because I wouldn't have made it to the venue because we ate at Haas's.
Yeah, I was along from the point that we passed Easttown Mall to the Wawa. Ryan was pretty much standing in the driver's seat of his Ford Explorer,
sweating bullets
because he wasn't sure if he was gonna make it. But Ryan, have you ever gone to Burger King and ordered anything like a Whopper, without onion or with extra pickles or anything like that?
No, because I want the burger exactly how they make it.
You don't want it your way, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying, Mark.
Well, but I mean, even if you order it as they make it, then you still have it your way, like Burger King.
If they offer cheese, I will say yes, but I will not suggest cheese because I choose not to have it my way, just to prove the point.
What a dickhead!
You have it the way of the cashier, whatever the cashier feel like to ask.
Whatever they want. I'll say hold the spit and hope for the best.
What a
if you want cheese.
Okay. Let's go around. If you listen to my review of SummerSlam, you already know that I gave the show a B+ based on my grades of each individual match. And for the teacher, I showed my work on that one. Again, Matt not with us. Tim, your grade for SummerSlam?
It's a ooh-ah.
Perfect.
I give it a B.
Okay. Ryan, how about you?
I will give SummerSlam a solid C, 75%.
Okay.
Nothing special here out of SummerSlam for me.
Okay. All right. And intern Mark, how about you?
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and give it a B. B.
Devin gave it a B as well. So, since Matt's not here, I assume he gave it an A plus. I'm just going to assume that he was super thrilled with everything that happened. I don't. He didn't say otherwise. So I think an A plus.
He sent me his score. He said it was actually an A. The only thing that would have made it better is the inclusion of Pat McAfee on this show as well. That would have given it the A plus distinction that he was looking for. But yeah, just an A for Matt.
That is fair. Okay, let's move to Monday night. On Monday Night Raw, like I said, Devin gave it a B. Nikki says B minus, that it was not memorable enough.
Bingo. Nikki's got it.
The B minus. So let's go to Monday night. Obviously, Monday Night Raw, we saw the main roster debut of Keith Lee. And of course, the big story out of this is new music, new gear. Nobody could get over the fact that Keith Lee was, mixing it up with the two biggest players on Monday Night Raw on multiple occasions, getting mic time, getting a wrestling match with Randy Orton, and now already has a match on the pay-per-view with Randy Orton. I choose to look at things as the full package as they're presented. The music's not great. I'm not sitting here saying best music ever, anything like that. Also, he's going to have a new theme already on Sunday, so people can kind of chill out on that one. As for the gear, whatever he said, and the bottom line is Keith Lee already addressed it. He said, music, gear, out of my control, relax, it's going to be fine. I choose again to look at the fact that he had multiple instances of mic time. He was in there with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. And he, like I said, he has a match this Sunday with Randy Orton. I think he is set up to be a major star based on what I saw on Monday. Obviously, you have to see that out. But from what I saw on Monday, Keith Lee is set up to be great. Tim, how about you?
I think it's a little too soon for Keith Lee, but also at the same time, the right time to send him. I'm curious to see how this works out with him on the main roster, if they're going to keep him in this high profile upper main event level. Debuting against Randy Orton is no small feat. You can compare it very much to John Cena debuting against Kurt Angle. The status of where Kurt Angle was on the card compared to where Randy Orton is now, and vice versa. It's a good way to not give us Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton at Payback again. It is a nice spreading out of that matchup. But there's a lot of people who debuted that had really crappy themes their first week, and then all of a sudden, like 2 or 3 weeks later, they just get a really great theme. Like Baron Corbin, when he debuted his newest theme, the first iteration of that new theme was garbage. And now it's like top 5 WWE themes currently. So
Tim, before we get to Ryan and Mark, there's a comment here from Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
I know you will probably be better to address it than I can.
Mm-hmm.
The comment is Randy is not a great guy for getting anyone over.
Right. That's why Randy Orton got Mark Henry over when Mark Henry won his first World Heavyweight Championship. It's also why Randy Orton got Jinder Mahal over when Jinder Mahal won his first WWE Championship. Randy Orton...
Kobe.
Randy Orton will quickly get involved in matchups with superstars who may not necessarily be at that same main event level. I mean, look at what he did with Aiden English during the height of the Rusev Day stuff. Look at what he did with Rusev during that same time frame.
Kobe.
You know, Randy Orton is the perfect guy to get in there if you need somebody to look as best as they can.
I agree. Ryan, your thought on Keith Lee's debut Monday on Raw?
Yeah, I think rubbing elbows with Randy Orton is a really good spot. If you want to tout him as being truly limitless, you might as well put him right near the top and see, what caliber you're working with on a main roster. Jim, I do have to disagree. I do think wrestling themes and appearances matter, especially on the first time you're seeing somebody. If you've not seen him, and you're not a consumer of NXT, we know more people watch Raw than NXT. The ratings prove that. That it's an important very first impression, and having generic rock song number 3, I don't think cuts it for somebody that's supposed to be limitless to have the beginning of his theme and then cut it to just dumb rock song. And the WWE, I mean, you can't deny they have sort of a thing in covering some bigger guys' bellies. I'm not saying all of them. There are some bigger wrestlers. Kevin Owens wrestles in a t-shirt, always has. Keith Lee, I just don't think it needs to happen. I don't know. I find it super hard to believe that you're going to tell me taglines matter, but wrestling entrance themes don't. Find that one hard to buy into.
I didn't say that they don't matter. I said that people were making too big of a deal out of the music.
Because they matter.
No, themes, a good theme versus a bad theme, obviously a good theme is great. Like Kevin Owens' theme, great. Nakamura's theme, great. Randy Orton's theme, great. Like there's some bad themes out there. However, on a guy's debut, when everybody is so concerned, every time there's an NXT call-up, the biggest concern is that, this guy's going to be, he's going to get lost in the mix. He's not going to be a big player, and they're not going to treat him right. And on his first night, he's rubbing elbows with the WWE champion and the top heel on the brand. I can forgive a generic theme song and some like attire that people think isn't great, because I can see the fact that he is set up to do big things based on how they present him on night one overall.
Right. So we're agreeing that themes are important, though, right? Like that is something that we can all agree to.
Right. I mean, if Kevin Owens came out to like a ballerina song, it probably wouldn't fit the gimmick.
Well, no, Kevin Owens didn't do that. Kevin Owens kept his same theme from NXT when he came up and debuted against John Cena. So that was a really big moment. And then a music change didn't affect,
because
didn't
he wasn't
overshadow
still
that.
NXT champion, right?
Why would you? He was the NXT champion, yes.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I want to. I remembered that.
So when you lose the championship 2 nights before, you have to get a new theme. What does the champion have to do with it?
Yeah,
Bob Roode came up with the same thing. Could you imagine how shitty Bob Roode would be without his theme song?
Keith Lee's
theme song took him.
Yeah, Keith Lee's the only dude
to the NXT championship.
Yeah, Keith Lee's the only dude who got called up and got a theme change.
Okay, and here's the thing. I never said that theme songs were not important, which is what you're implying that I said.
I'm not implying that.
You kind of are.
I'm implying that it doesn't need to change. And I think people have a right to be upset when your favorite wrestler has a theme change. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying.
You can be upset that the theme is different, but losing sight of how important he's set up to be was the point I was making. People were losing sight of that and only getting hung up on the music and only getting hung up on the gear. And the man himself, Keith Lee, was like, guys, just chill. It's going to be fine.
But how much of that is damage control that he's trying to do so that the powers that be aren't like, yo, his fan base is problematic. We're gonna have Orton just kill him at Payback.
Well,
and then he'll be just another black dude on Raw.
And maybe that's what he was doing. But the bottom line is, if that's what he was doing because of the fan base, then it's the fan base to blame, not the WWE. because they are losing sight of the way he was set up based on his debut. Again, like it's the full package,
Right. And like I can excuse a bad theme when like you're changing a theme from one to another, but all this theme shows me is that Vince made a gut check decision. It's like, Keith Lee's available. Yeah, we're going to bring him to Raw. And that's literally what it's like, it's almost like he lost the title on Saturday. Once that Vince McMahon saw that Keith Lee lost the NXT title, he went to Paul and was like, hey, are you using him anymore? Okay. Repackage him, make him put on a body condom and send him out there. Who's got music? No one's got music for Keith Lee. Well, what's his theme now? Sounds like shit. Get something else. Now, I mean, what Keith Lee didn't always have that such good theme on NXT. It wasn't until he recorded Limitless. That's actually Keith Lee rapping on his own theme.
Yes.
He did the exact same thing on the Indies. What's to say they're just waiting for Keith Lee to do the exact same thing on this new song. Now, it's short-sighted that you debuted him with an unfinished theme.
Sure.
I get the physical presentation being changed. It's a lot more aesthetically pleasing. It's more marketable. You can put it on action figures or whatever. They did the same thing with Samoa Joe. They made him get out of the tights and they put him in the flowy MMA Muay Thai trunks.
Yeah.
So you don't see old jiggly thighs, because that is the problem.
But again, intern Mark, I don't think we ever got to you on this one. Your thoughts on Keith Lee's debut?
Keith Lee, I'll tell you, I like the pink and black. It reminded me of the Hart Foundation. He's up there, like you said, he's rubbing elbows with the world champ and Randy Orton. It doesn't get much better than that for a debut. So even though the attire and the entrance theme is not quite what I hoped it would be, the fact of the matter is he's a top player right now on Raw. So that makes me happy.
Right. And that was the only point I was trying to make from the beginning. Themes can always change. Gear can always change. But like everybody's biggest gripe when it comes to NXT call-ups is that they're going to get lost in the mix. They're going to be bottom feeders. They're not going to be respected. And on night one, Keith Lee was at the top of the show. He was respected and he's set up for greatness. And all of that was overlooked for music and gear.
But imagine, though, if Chris Jericho debuted August 1999 with the countdown to the millennium, everything's great. You get the countdown clock. You know you don't know who's coming, but you know something's about to happen.
Sure.
They do the countdown to 0, and then Keith Lee's theme hits, and it's Chris Jericho standing. Everything is exactly the same, but it's Keith Lee's theme.
I know who Chris Jericho is.
Don't the music guy's trying to tell me that music doesn't matter? That it would have been the exact same if Chris Jericho came out to a lackluster song.
The same. But however, if he goes toe to toe with, it was The Rock that night.
It was The Rock.
If he goes toe to toe on the mic with The Rock, I'm fairly quickly getting over the fact that his music was meh, because he just went toe to toe with the best guy in the business on the stick.
Did they change an entrance video at all? The video was still the same for the most part, kind of color schemey, right? That was roughly the same.
I believe so.
Like, imagine, I don't know, Walter coming up to Raw with the same thing, But like the Benny fucking Hill song playing in the background or something, like it's ridiculous to think that it doesn't matter, Jim. You're wrong. That's the last thing I want to say about it.
Again, I'm not saying it does not matter.
And
that's not what I
gave
said.
people the
That's
reason
not what I
to
said.
be short-sighted about that, though.
It gave people the reason to think that they're gonna do with Keith Lee the same thing they do with everyone else from NXT. Already out of the gate, you have changed two identifiable pieces of Keith Lee. You have made him change his look. You have changed his entrance theme. And now, yes, he is being showcased as a top star against Randy Orton. Kevin Owens was showcased as a big star against John Cena. But like, if you look at the track record of NXT stars that come to WWE, they do have a lot of fanfare at first, and then they're just another piece.
Right, and that's why I said they have to see it through. But I think he's set up to be pretty fucking great.
If I've seen it 15 times, and 15 times it's been the same, when 16 happens, I'm hopeful for 16.
I think that argument, and this is gonna contradict almost everything I've said. My comments were strictly about entrance themes, but I think that argument's getting a little tired. That you're calling NXT wrestler call-ups. Look at actual champions: Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins. These guys had really, really successful careers. Nakamura, and now he's fizzled out a little bit. Is that a heel thing? Is that like they turned him heel? How did he fizzle? Why did he fizzle? Bob Roode, kind of the same thing. Had a decent run on the main roster. So it's not. Kevin Owens is a great example. Sami Zayn, who the hell knows what's going on with Sami Zayn anymore? I think these guys do come up, and it's really their own way. I mean, get over. I don't know.
Now's the 8-man tag on AEW, by the way.
Oh,
Jason,
what's happened? Oh,
Jason, I'm sorry we're not talking about it AEW enough for you. We may get to more AEW discussion, but I apologize that we're not talking enough All Elite Wrestling for you, Jason.
Andrade had a call up, was lukewarm, and now is on every single episode of Raw.
Yeah,
not in the main title picture, but he's featured every single week. I think there's plenty of examples of champions getting called up that do pretty well. Bo Dallas.
Let's see. Jason says his look and music can change all day long. At the end of the day, he's a 400-pound black guy. He's noticeable from NXT and will grow into an attraction WWE. I hope so. I mean, and again, that's where I said the initial presentation was great. He is set up for greatness and stardom. They have to see it through.
This entrance theme is so bad, you can go to the WWE Music YouTube page and it's not even listed. They posted Killian Dane's new theme a day ago, and they have not put up the piece of shit Keith Lee theme that they gave him on here. It's not a Dexter Lumis has this theme up there. The Flight of Drake Maverick, that's a real song. That made it on here, not Keith Lee's new jam.
I think it's just because it's unfinished.
Yes, and that was confirmed.
I think that's what it is.
I think that was confirmed by I forget the artist, but there will be a new or updated track for Keith Lee Sunday at Payback.
Well, then shame on WWE for rushing it.
Yes, that was my point.
Just have him debut at Payback then.
Against who?
Your mom. I don't fucking know.
Right. So
you do everything you do everything you did on Raw at Payback. You make Randy Orton jump Drew McIntyre backstage at Payback because he can't wait to get his hands on him. They say Drew McIntyre cannot defend the WWE Championship, and Keith Lee steps in and takes his place. And Keith Lee debuts against Randy Orton and has his first match at Payback instead of on Raw.
That guy the pencil.
There you go. I would have been fine with. So yes,
But I'm a fat kid eating popcorn on a podcast.
Was it a like spur of the moment decision that brought on the call up? Probably. Like, let's be honest. I mean, it's probably now more than ever, WWE's operating week to week. Like, let's be honest here. You know, they may have some long-term plans, but for the most part, they're probably operating week to week, show to show. So yeah, it may have been Vince going, I want this guy. Hunter, sorry, you're giving him up. And you know, and it is what it is. Jesus, Jason. All right, let's move on. I did post the
3 count question of the week.
This one was brought
That's a better theme than the new Keith Lee theme.
Oh, come on,
I'm gonna put that out there right now.
Yeah, you fucking mark for yourself. The WWE on Fox posted the top 5 NXT superstars of all time. I will get to some of the responses we got on social media for that, but we'll go around the room. We'll start at 5, go around, 4, go around. So we'll build up to our number ones. My number 5 is Finn Balor. You know, he had a 240 plus day title reign. You know, we saw the demon character for the first time, you know, the interactive entrance, both as Finn Balor and as the demon, and just, you know, really kind of set himself up to, you know, to stardom on the main roster that eventually led to a universal title win before he threw his arm back when he probably shouldn't have on the match against Seth Rollins. But in NXT, spectacular. Finn Balor is my number 5. Tim, we'll go to you.
Oh, we're going 5-1.
Yeah.
Number 5 to me is going to be, good question. Number 5 for me will probably be Sami Zayn.
Okay.
A guy who you don't necessarily think of anymore being from NXT, but man, he has some of the most iconic NXT matches. His match with Kevin Owens, his match with Cesaro, like those are big moments and big matches. And his match with Shinsuke Nakamura at TakeOver Dallas, like Sami Zayn is easily on this Mount Rushmore, and is my number 5.
Yeah, I mean, some people that Nakamura match as their best NXT match of all time. Ryan, you're number 5.
Tim, you're absolutely right with putting Sami Zayn on the list. I think you can really, in my mind, you can go back to the very first TakeOver special arrival. It started with Cesaro and Sami Zayn, and they did that little jump through the second and third turnbuckle DDT spot. And I was absolutely hooked. I thought this is something very special. I was not a huge NXT consumer prior to arrival, and that absolutely made me a fan. Plus, his interactions with Kevin Owens was a story so well told. You know, for a wrestling promotion that often gets shat on for not telling stories, man, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn story was just beautiful. So number 5 belongs to Sami Zayn on my list.
Okay. And intern Mark.
Oh boy. Number 5, I'm gonna have to go with Adam Rose. All right, I'm joking. But I'd like to go with Adam Rose.
I can never be sure with you, Mark. I was going to hit this.
He's one of my favorites.
We can never be sure.
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes. I think I'm going to do number 5. I think I'll go with Asuka, undefeated NXT Women's Champion. That's tough to beat, no pun intended. So I'm going to put Asuka up there at number 5.
Let's see here. Charlie, you can enter them all at one time. You don't have to. Okay, never mind. Jason has Shayna as his number 5. Devin, I'm going to assume Sami Zayn is his number 5. Charlie, I don't know which way you're going because you're just entering them one at a time. So Sammy maybe is his number 5. My number 4 is Shayna Baszler. Her long and impressive run as NXT Women's Champion, and you know, just running through that division for as good as it was. It's just Shayna Baszler, my number 4. Tim.
I've also got the Queen of Spades right here at 4. First 2-time NXT Women's Champion, I believe.
That is correct.
So, really carried, much like Asuka and Bayley, really was a transitional piece for the NXT Women's division in a time of harvest to the main roster. Bayley was first. Bayley was the champion when the other 3 of the horsewomen got called up. Then they rebuilt the crop. Asuka was the champion when Bliss and Bayley and Carmella and all the other women got called up. And then Shayna, very much the same way. Asuka, Kairi, like all the women in that group gets moved up as well. And Shayna really doesn't get a lot of, I don't think we'll get a lot of credit when you boil it down. But absolutely number 4 for me, Queen of Spades.
Ryan, number 4.
I'll flop my 3 and 4 just to keep it theme with the women. I will go Asuka as my number 4. Her 522-day reign as NXT champion, I thought was a bar setter. The longest single reign in NXT. Shayna has her beat with her 2 reigns, but I just thought what she did to that division and held the championship for so long just was an unbeatable beast in NXT. Was so excited to see her call up and what they were going to do with that. So Asuka will be my number 4.
Intern Mark, your number 4.
Number 4. Boy, I'll go with I think, what do you call them? Tomato chips.
Tomato chips.
Tomato chips.
Is that what? I'll go with tomato chips as my number 4. I really enjoyed his feud with Johnny Gargano, and I said I think he is one of the best heels, actually the best heel in WWE for a time. So he's going to get my vote at number 4. Tomato chips.
Very good. Jason's number 4 is Kevin Owens. Charlie rewrote his number. His number 5 was Adam Cole, Bebe. His number 4 is Bayley. Let's see. I'll read off Devin's. He had Cole, Johnny Wrestling, Ciampa, Finn, and Sami Zayn as his top 5. Moving on to number 3. My number 3 is Kevin Owens. From his debut when he broke his nose and then powerbombed Sammy onto the apron, through his time as NXT champion, and of course the debut against John Cena. It felt like every single thing that Kevin Owens did in NXT not only was important, but was like must see. Like he screamed, "Watch this!" from the moment he stepped into NXT. Obviously being a bigger guy myself, seeing what Kevin Owens does in the ring is just ridiculous, and it just defies logic, so that plays into it as well. So for me, my number 3 is Kevin Owens. Tim.
My number 3 is going to be a little blasphemous, but my number 3 is Adam Cole. Very much the current face of NXT. He is the person who is the cornerstone of this brand. In all respect, I probably should have put Kevin Owens at 5 instead of Sami Zayn, but I feel like Sami deserved the credit he got, or didn't get. But Adam Cole, a cornerstone for NXT right now. What the Undisputed Era did or is doing and did do for NXT was a very weird time in which for a 4-person act was the most over piece in the company, without Adam Cole coming in and giving the group of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish a sense of cohesion and then the adding of Roderick Strong all around Adam Cole. I think it really speaks to what Adam Cole means to NXT and why the Undisputed Era is probably going to be, when they do get called up, they need to be called up together.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely needs to happen. I thought they were doing a funeral for Cody Rhodes on AEW. I don't know who's that in the coffin. They have a bunch of okay, they're mocking Cody. I got it. The Dark Order.
I hope it's just full of all Cody Rhodes' action figures.
But they had a bunch of like lawn equipment and they brought out a coffin. Ryan, you're number 3.
Tim, what was the word you used for your number 3? Blasphemous?
Yeah, a little blasphemy.
I think I could probably use the same term here. As the kids would say, these guys were over AF. They were the NXT Tag Team of the Year in 2015. And quite frankly, you can't teach that. I have Enzo and Cass on my list.
Who?
I think you can go back and what we know now, but go back and watch some of their interactions from the beginning with Sylvester Lafort and Marcus Louis to American Alpha, the Ascension. Man, it was the Vaudevillains. It was a fun time in the tag team division in NXT. And those guys
back where Enzo got his head kadoinked off the mat against the Vaudevillains.
A lot of good times, really. If you look back on it, it's very remembered favorably. Let's say that those guys were over as hell. Jim didn't like it. I think that made me like it even more. Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, I didn't get it when they were in NXT.
Yeah, that's fine. You can't teach it, Jim. You just have to get it. But I think you eventually got it. They were my 4. They're now my 3 because I felt the need to keep the women in 4 for some reason with everybody else. So Enzo and Cass, numero 3 on Ryan's list.
Okay, very good.
I got a soft belt buckle. How can I not?
You got a soft something. In turn, Mark.
Oh my!
How about you?
Poor Ryan could use some Blue Chew.
Insert Mark. Who's your number 3?
Oh man, I was really thinking about putting Enzo and Cass on the list here. I was a huge fan of both of them.
Do it for Blue Pants.
Carmella in there, and the 3 of them were great. I know Blue Pants. If it wasn't for Enzo and Cass, we'd have no Blue Pants. At least I don't think we'd have any Blue Pants.
Now we don't.
Number 3 for me. I'm going to go with. Now we have a librarian, but she has blue hair.
Yeah.
But still, I miss Blue Pants. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kevin Owens as my number 3, pretty much for all the reasons that have already been stated. Yeah, KO, fantastic in NXT, transitioned to the main roster very well, but I'm going to go KO. Kevin Owens, my number 3.
All right, Jason's number 3, Seth Rollins. People forget. So I think some people forget that they were all NXT folk. My number 2 is the man who's kind of been the current face of NXT, and for the reasons that Tim listed, so I won't get long-winded with it. But Adam Cole, Bebe, is my number 2. I almost wanted to put like the full Undisputed Era at number 2, but they kind of do go hand in hand. But since it was the specific question was top 5 like superstars, I will go just with the leader of the pack, Bebe. Tim, your number 2.
My number 2 is going to be probably when NXT is all is said and done, the one name that you'll probably associate most with NXT is Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano was really like the through line for a lot of some of NXT's most modern history. Triple Crown champion. his feud of the year with Tommaso Ciampa. Also involved in some of the greatest tag matches in NXT history with the Revival, the Authors of Pain. I think they were in there with American Alpha at some point too.
I believe.
But without Johnny Gargano being the kind of driving force for NXT, and being that purveyor of good during the time against Tommaso Ciampa, NXT really doesn't get to where it is right now. I honestly don't think so. I don't think that it's its own brand independently without, or not brand, but its own television show on the USA Network.
Probably stays on the network.
Right. So to me, Johnny Gargano, number 2.
Solid. Ryan, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Kevin Owens. Again, I think ties right in with what I said about Sami Zayn, the story that those two told. The moment that Kevin Owens was it Sami Zayn won, Kevin Owens came down to celebrate, and then walking back up the ramp, just like yucking him. Oh my God. What a moment. That's a moment that, quite frankly, you never saw coming. And really, again, hooked me with NXT. And God, what a great storyline those guys told from his call up, everything. So Kevin Owens, number 2.
Guys, would you believe that a segment on AEW is just pure chaos? Just a full chaotic moment?
They have got great referees down there to keep control of the action.
Well, no, it's not actually during a tag team match, but it's just a segment. I'm sure there'll be chaos at the end of the tag match that'll likely close the show.
It's okay. Anna Jay's out there. I don't care.
Insert Mark, you're number 2.
Number 2, I got to go with Adam Cole. Bay. And I don't know that I could add any more to what everybody's already said about him, but one in addition to any roster, but NXT and the Undisputed Era just tearing it up. So Adam Cole for my number 2.
Jason had his number 2 as the faction of the 4 Horsewomen. Charlie had Sami Zayn as his number 2. He had Asuka at 3. I forgot to read his. Was Asuka at 3. Said Sammy was NXT long before Johnny Wrestling. And then let's go to our number 1s, and then I'll read a couple more from the original social media post. I have Asuka as my number 1. Her long title reign. I mean, there's been incredible women. Like, I looked at putting Paige on my list, because she was the NXT Women's Champion upon call up, and then became the Divas Champion. Obviously Bayley and Sasha and Becky and Charlotte and everything that they did for the women's division there. But Asuka took it to a completely different level, and was 600 some days as women's champion, and could probably still be the women's champion, in NXT if she was still there. And obviously it set her up for greatness in the WWE. So absolutely, without question, when I think about NXT, pretty much the first person that comes to my mind is Asuka. Tim, you're number 1.
Well, wouldn't you know, we're on the same page. I have Asuka as well at number 1. Very much for the same reason Johnny Gargano is 2. Asuka, while some are going to point to Bayley as being the most NXT, Asuka really gave an identity to the women's division, unlike anyone else. And she'll forever be known as the probably the only champion in that company's history that vacated the title to go and do greater things.
Sure.
To me, the "We Are NXT" chant is gonna kind of be Asuka's. And it went to everyone else as well. But no one's ready. No one was ready for Asuka, and no one ever will.
My God, TNA is peddling the X chair on every commercial break during Dynamite. This office chair, $100 off and a 30-day free trial. Ryan, you're number one.
My number one is Pat McAfee. I don't know why he wouldn't have made anybody else's list, but single-handedly did more for the brand than anybody else. No, it's obviously Adam Cole. I think, I'm so good on the WWE to not miss the Adam Cole boat, to not allow him to go to Impact or stay with Ring of Honor or something like that. But if you think Adam Cole is great now, go check out some of his Ring of Honor stuff. It's phenomenal. Adam Cole, and really the whole undisputed era faction is really, really good. Such a great faction. I personally hope they never get called up. I really do. I hope they are like NXT standard bearers, and I think they just fit perfectly fine there. Adam Cole, baby.
Anytime, Mark, you're number one.
My number one, I got to go with Johnny Gargano, Mr. Wrestling. I think once it's all said and done, years from now, NXT, when you look back, I think Johnny Gargano is going to be the guy you think of when it comes to NXT. Johnny's my number one. Congratulations, Johnny.
There you go. Charlie had Finn Balor as his number one. And then looking here at some of our responses from our social media, Daniel had Nakamura at 5, Bailey, Asuka, Rollins, and Adam Cole as his number one. Chase, longtime listener of the show, had Adam Rose at number 5, Johnny Gargano at number 4, and then Kevin Owens as 3, 2, and 1.
Where did the Patriot land on his list?
He didn't land on his NXT list.
Okay.
Stat guy Greg had 5, Finn Balor, 4, Bo Dallas, 3, Johnny Gargano, 2, Asuka, 1, Adam Cole. JJ had Balor, Sammy, Cole, Sasha, and Asuka on his, and then Jason here at Adam Cole as his number one. So yeah, I mean, all of these lists, we obviously always appreciate the responses and the feedback. Always good stuff there. We have a pay-per-view on Sunday.
Oh, God, another one.
Another one. We'll have pay-per-view predictions next week on the show, as AEW will have their pay-per-view coming up. So it'll be a three straight weeks with pay-per-view predictions. But as of right now, there's only 4 matches on the card so far for WWE Payback. We will start with the newly formed tag team of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax taking on Sasha and Bailey for the women's tag team championships. And I feel like they're going to just flip the switch here and go Shayna and Nia with the victory. And obviously we're going to continue to see the breakdown of Sasha and Bailey. So I have Shayna and Nia Jax as your new women's tag team champions, because there's not actually any women's tag teams that could be in this, but whatever. I got this was for everybody that says I never shit on the WWE. I shat on them about this week on our social media. Tim, women's tag team championship.
Oh, it's tag team partners who don't get along who end up winning the title.
It's never happened before. You'll never see it come. Oh wait, that was last week's tagline.
It's Nia and Shayna.
Yeah.
If only to split up Sasha and Bailey later.
Ryan.
Yeah, Team Shania.
Yes. Turn Mark.
Yeah, I gotta go Team Shania as well. I don't really. It's an odd team, but what the heck? I'm gonna go with them to further the storyline with Bailey and Sasha. It's going to happen.
Now, listen, and I know We talked a lot about themes here, but I hope they go with the Shania thing, and they come down with that "Don't impress me much," and I would be an absolute fan of this.
Very good. Devin says Banks and Bailey are going to keep the titles. Jason says, wait, Nia's still employed. Hasn't she potatoed everyone? And Charlie says, I'm taking Adam's family member and Haystacks. Jesus Christ.
He called her Haystacks. Jesus Christ. I poked fun at her wigs. I never called her Haystacks.
Wow. Oh,
That's
wow.
coming in hot.
Oh man.
Wow. United States Championship.
Haystacks Calhoun.
Apollo Crews defending against
Bob!
Lashley, and I have
Bob!
as your new U.S. champion, possibly here with some help from Cedric Alexander. The Hurt Business is going to grow.
Bob!
He's your new champion. Tim.
Hit it again.
Bob!
Yeah.
Hit it again.
Bob!
That's who Ryan's got. Mark, how about you?
Hey, give it one more hit.
Bob!
There we go. Clean sweep of that
That's
one.
a clean bob right there.
Bob.
Bob! Bob! Bob!
All right. That one's easy. Singles match. Keith Lee versus Randy Orton. I got to go Keith Lee. I don't know what his music's going to sound like. I don't know what his gear is going to look like, but Keith Lee's going to beat Randall Orton. Tim.
Man, this is the perfect opportunity for Keith Lee coming in, having the one-on-one match with a decisive finish. And that's why Keith Lee will eat an RKO and fall at the hands of Randy Orton. Yep. It's Randy Orton, man. I love Keith Lee, but I love Randy Orton more. I've loved Randy Orton way longer than I've loved Keith Lee, so I gotta go.
By the way, Devin also had
Bob!
Ryan. Who do you have here, Lee or Orton?
My heart wants to say Keith Lee.
Go with the heart.
But
do like Mark did with this great for NXT.
My brain and Tim's brain is right on the same choo-choo train tracks that
No, the choo-choo guys.
be
That's the next match we're going to predict. The choo-choo guy.
Oh, that's the choo-choo guy. Oh yeah, still Randy Orton.
Okay. Intern Mark, how about you?
Well, I think I'm going to go with Keith Lee, possibly via DQ, something like that. I don't think it's going to be a pinfall, but I'm going to go with Keith Lee.
Charlie has Orton by DQ. Jason says the Hurt Business is going to help Keith Lee, and he's going to become the premier Hurt Business member. Interesting. I think eventually Lee could be a top heel. I don't think that happens this quickly. And then finally, of course, it was the match that was announced on Monday, the contract signing, which of course we know will go smoothly tomorrow on SmackDown. The big dog Roman Reigns, the Fiend Bray Wyatt, of course, defending his, and then also Braun Strowman's in there, hopefully just to eat the pin. In a no-holds-barred triple threat match for the Universal title. Nikki says she wants Lee, but it will most likely be Orton. I'm going to go ahead and, WWE, they've been missing this guy. He was set to be Universal Champion at WrestleMania. From the transition from Performance Center to the Thunderdome, I think is kind of a reset button as well. And I think we are going to see Roman Reigns walk out of the Thunderdome at Payback as your new Universal Champion. Tim.
I am torn. I'm very torn here. Because I would love nothing more than to see Big Dog just come on in here, get this Universal Championship, and be the champion that SmackDown deserves during these uncertain times. But I think that's too soon. Without Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman ain't no monster. He ain't no monster unless I'm here.
I'm not finished with you!
And Bray Wyatt ain't nothing but a creepy guy in a mask.
That is what Roman said.
Creepy goof in a mask. So, I think Bray Wyatt, I think The Fiend retains the Universal Championship. Because I feel like when Roman gets it back, it's 1-on-1.
Okay.
But yeah, it's gotta be The Fiend here.
I mean, for the record, my prediction is what I think is going to happen, not what I want to happen. My heart wants Bray Wyatt. We talked about heart versus mind, but mind says Roman Reigns. Ryan. I know, it's tough.
While he's thinking about it, I just saw AEW promote probably one of the dumbest matches of my life.
Which one?
On the screen. It's of an 8-person tag. It's Private Party and SCU versus the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express. Do you know what is on the line?
No, I do not.
The winners face each other at All Out.
So next week on Dynamite is that match, and then at All Out the winners face each other.
Yep, for nothing. Payday, pay-per-view payday, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
I guess. Do it for the
Sure.
payday.
Cool.
So
I hate it. I hate it so much because I don't feel like we can abandon the need to protect the Fiend Bray Wyatt 1 week after saying that it's the most important thing that we can do. The only thing worse than having Bray Wyatt drop the championship here would be giving Bray Wyatt a brand new entrance theme. So for that reason alone,
for fuck's sake,
I'm going to go with the Fiend Bray Wyatt to let me in, to keep his theme, and keep his championship around his waist.
You suck, you jackass.
Intern Mark. What a dickhead you are.
Oh boy. I hope Ray, the Fiend, if you will, retains the title. I am not going to be surprised if Roman takes it, but I'm officially going to say the Fiend retains. I'm going to throw my support behind the Fiend.
Yeah,
that's my mind speaking, not my heart.
And for me, again, I hope that if my mind beats heart and Roman Reigns does win, that the reason Braun Strowman is in the mix on this is so that he eats the pin. I don't know how the Fiend isn't involved somehow with this. Maybe he does just teleport out of there and is like, I don't know, but just I don't want him to eat the pin if Roman is going to win here. But yeah, I'm sure more matches will get announced on SmackDown tomorrow, and I'm sure more matches will be announced on Sunday morning.
Are there any holds that are barred in the match between Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and the Fiend? Are there any barred holds?
The number of holds that are barred.
0.0.
Cool. Good to know.
Good to know.
Good to know.
All right.
Thank you for that clarification.
Now today, obviously, we alluded at it a little bit earlier. We posted the cover of the magazine, the PWI fight. Now, is the full list isn't out yet, just with the top 10, correct? I mean, we're not going to.
The list I had has 17. I think they announced the top 50.
Okay, well let's look at the top 10.
I can do a little bit of digging really quick.
Let's just look at the top 10. Obviously, we saw that
the top 25, I think, was what was revealed. I saw today. 25.
That AEW World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley is the number 1 in the PWI. And Tim, I know you said Adam Cole, Bay is number 2. Do you have the rest of the top 10 there?
I do. So starting at 10 and making our way up. Now, to remind everyone, the date range for the the PWI 500 is July 1st, 2019 until June 30th, 2020. So your top 10 are AJ Styles. 9 is Kofi Kingston. 8 is Seth Rollins. 7 is Cody Rhodes. 6 is Okada Kazuchika. 5 is Tetsuya Naito. 4, Drew McIntyre. 3, Chris Jericho. 2, Adam Cole. 1, Jon Moxley.
Okay. Charlie's birthday is Sunday, so happy early birthday to Charlie. Okay. I feel like Cody is low on this list.
I have thoughts.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think I just don't think Jon Moxley should be number 1.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I don't think he's the top in AEW. Now again, this takes in New Japan and everything else.
Right, but even so, so the classifications for the top 500 are win-loss record, technical ability, influence on the sport, success against the highest grade of competition, success against the most diverse competition, whatever that means, and activity. With that said, I mean, John did have a lot of influence on the sport, making the jump from WWE to AEW. Win-loss record, very high. Technical ability, very high. I mean, he checks all of the boxes, but during this date range that's the iffy part for me.
Right, because there's a period of that time where he was out hurt, correct?
He was out hurt, and especially since from February to June, it's hard to say because his quality of competition was nothing.
Right.
Who has he wrestled since February? He won the AEW championship from Chris Jericho. Then he's had a match with I think he's had one match with Darby Allin, a couple of tags, a match with Brian Cage, and now he's got MJF. But that's now.
Yeah, I would say that's now. Well, I think even the match with Brian Cage was after the close of the list.
Right. To me, number 1 should probably be Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Maybe not Chris Jericho just because of the number of matches, but influence on the sport. First AEW World Champion, being the driving recognizable force in AEW until Jon Moxley shows up. You can also make a really strong case for Naito.
Yeah, Charlie says he has Naito, Jericho, Drew, and Cole all before Moxley for him. I even, and I know I've make jokes about, Cody and the Bucks and Omega, booking themselves at the top of the territory. But I mean, at least to fit criteria here, I almost argue that Cody should even be higher than Moxley.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that too.
I mean, he's probably wrestled more. First TNT champion. I don't know if when they started bringing in the Kingstons and War Horses and stuff, if that was after the list closed, but
when was the cutoff?
June 30, 2020. For the record, let me also say this. and this is important to say, because once I say this, then I think it should change everybody's list. This is the first year of the PWI 500 in which women are a part of the 500. There is not a single woman in the top 25.
Are you serious?
Not one.
Not
so why did they even have them on the list?
Kylie Ray is 78 and Tessa Blanchard is 83, and there are others. But you cannot tell me from June 30 or from July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020 that Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair are number one or in the top 10.
How is Becky Lynch not in the top 5?
Correct.
In that time frame. Seriously.
She wrestled until April. So she's got 2 months off of the list.
Yeah.
But literally,
John Moxley was in quarantine for 3 weeks.
She was undefeated champion during that time.
Yeah. Yeah, literally that whole time until, and she never lost the title.
No. But it's okay because a wrestler, and I'm sure that he's really great, Kento Miyahara, for All Japan, is a fantastic professional wrestler. He is number 24 on the list. Jacob Fatu, the champion for MLW, is 20. Nick Aldis, the NWA World Champion, is number 15.
15.
He's wrestled two dudes. He's wrestled two. He's wrestled two people.
Yeah,
Cody Rhodes and the corpse of Tim Storm.
Former guest of the show, Tim Storm.
God bless you, Tim Storm. Teach them kids. But
again, yes, I get it. It is a worked list. But for fuck's sake, you go out of your way, because I think we even talked about that when they announced that women were a part of the 500 this year, that they're going to be more included. And unfortunately, to my discredit, I forgot about that. So is Kylie Ray the highest ranked woman on the list?
I don't think so. I think that they're using Kylie Ray and Tessa Blanchard as names that independent people would love to see on the list.
And you said Tessa was where?
83.
Okay, but influence on the sport, she became Impact World Champion.
Yes, and Kylie Ray was signed by AEW and left.
Yeah, Christ. So there was no women in the because you can see the top 25. No women in the top 25.
I will read out. I will hit the rest of the 25 very quickly.
Sure, hit them quick.
11 Keith Lee, 12 Brock Lesnar, 13 Kenny Omega, 14 Roman Reigns, Nick Aldis at 15, Bray Wyatt at 16, Kota Ibushi at 17. Sorry, I had to. Roosh at 18, Choo Choo Man at 19, Jacob Fatu at 20, Will Ospreay at 21, MJF at 22, Aleister Black at 23, Kento Miyahara at 24, and Walter at 25.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, this list is hot garbage.
Way out of line.
As a reminder, it takes into account win-loss record, technical ability, influence on the sport, success against the highest grade of competition, success against the most diverse competition, and activity. Whatever that means.
For that to ever even factor in to a actual shoot list, a worked win-loss record is ridiculous to even include in anything. I looked it up. I looked up the rankings. John Moxley was 13-0 in 2020 when the list came out, 18-2-1 overall.
Okay.
So I don't know when they reset things, but he was undefeated in 2020 by the time the list came out for that prerequisite. I don't think you can argue the impact of him going to AEW and what that meant, leaving WWE as like the highest sought after free agent. The videos, I think he made a big impact. I really don't have a problem with somebody like Mox.
Wasn't his debut?
Yeah, that might have been on the other side. You're right.
Double or Nothing, so it would have been on the other side of the list.
Double or Nothing would have. When was Double or Nothing? Oh, Memorial Day 2019.
Yeah.
So that literally just skirted.
Yeah.
Just
so I
out
mean,
of it.
he won the title in this time frame.
But
I think they highlight the champions well. You have your champions in there, Roosh from Ring of Honor, Jacob Fatu from LLW. I think it's good to do that and highlight some that's not AEW or W. I don't have a problem with highlighting other talent.
Biggest problem is that you're saying that women are on the list.
Correct.
And you're telling me that not a single woman is one of the top 25 greatest wrestlers from July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020 in a world in which Shayna Baszler and Asuka and Charlotte Flair and Becky
Brandy
Lynch and like I'm
Nia Jax.
Yes.
I mean, like, come on.
Like Io Shirai.
Becky goddamn Lynch. Like,
and I'm not even as high on Becky Lynch anymore.
Right. Like
as I was.
But to fit the criteria,
biggest star in wrestling.
Yeah. For Becky Lynch not to be in the top 5, to arguably be in the top 3, and to like this is garbage. Yeah, I totally that it slipped my mind.
If you want to hear more about the PWI 500, I have a sneaking feeling that Final Wrestling Place is going to cover this.
Yeah, I
in a
feel
segment
like
that we call "What Are You Doing?"
Because I feel like I remember friend of the show, The Boar, had some things to say about the PW. Always has some things to say about the PWI.
Yo, you don't have to be a basketball fan to love these dunks.
Yeah. But yeah, I will definitely. Yeah, Rhea Ripley as well. Charlie points out for Rhea Ripley not to be anywhere on that top 25. Man, that's brutal. I got nothing else for this week. Man, PWI can eat a fat one as far as I'm concerned. But anybody got anything else they want to hit before we close up? Yes, Ryan.
I had asked for a friend of the show, Rob Noxious, to send some information. September the 5th, mark your calendars, folks. September 5th, CCW Live. It is a free show, folks. Free show.
All right.
Marysville Lion Club up in Marysville, Pennsylvania. If you've not been, beautiful this time of year. The trees are blooming. You can see the river. It kind of overlooks Harrisburg. A beautiful, beautiful ride to Marysville Lions Club. That is 102 Park Drive in Marysville, Pennsylvania. Doors are opening at 4. Folks, this is an outdoor show, so maybe the door won't physically open, but you get the picture. Bell time is at 5 p.m., an outdoor show. Social distancing will be practiced at the show, so feel free to go there and be safe. Still wear your mask would be my suggestion. Masks are a good thing. Folks, no refunds. No refunds. CCW Live, free show, September the 5th, 2020. Mark your calendars.
Anybody got anything else? Otherwise, let's wrap it up. Tim, got anything to plug?
Final Wrestling Place. If you like wrestling a little more retro, I do a podcast for your listening pleasure. Drops Mondays at midnight, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify, the mother hub of SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Final Wrestling Place. We are covering cinematic matches this season. The versus matchup for this episode is going to be the WCW Hardcore Junkyard Invitational from Bash of the Beach 1999, taking on all of Crash Holly's 24/7 title defenses outside of the WWE arena. So his ball pit match, his car wash match, like all those fun little spots. One of those goes to the good place, one of those goes to the bad place. Absolutely appreciate it. If you decide to subscribe or just give us a follow on Twitter at Final Place Pod. We post polls and put other weird stuff up there too. Love to get you guys' ears on that too.
Charlie asks in the comments here, he says if he was to do kind of a something to wrestle with style podcast independent wrestling, would anybody interested? That sounds like fun. That sounds like a lot of fun, Charlie. Yeah.
Is Pat McAfee an independent wrestler?
He's a free agent.
Yeah, well, he's kind of a free agent. Ryan, got anything to plug?
Why would I have to plug anything?
I don't know. Got anything to add?
Boy, there's a lot. That hurricane sucked real bad. So thoughts and prayers with everybody there.
Yeah.
I wish we would get our shit together as a nation. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't want to go down that trail. We could.
I agree.
Political podcast here. That would be a fun one. Maybe we ought to just turn off wrestling for one night and do that. I tip my hat to things like the NBA, the NHL playoffs, things like that. I think you're doing the right thing. I hope that this creates some change in the world, and some leaders step up and realize now's the time to let's really start having some conversations, and let's as a nation fix this and move on. So that's my parting blow, and shame on the WWE for fucking up Keith Lee's team.
Intern Mark, anything to add?
That's a shame. Oh man, let's see. The other week I talked about was Hodecker's celery. And of course, we had Miriam's pie. So how about I'll plug Rob Subs, which are available this and every Tuesday over at Roots Country Market. If you haven't had a Rob Sub, folks, you don't know what you're missing. See, the way that they do it, they put all the lettuce and the tomatoes and the onions that typically fall out of that sub, they put them on the roll. And then they put the cheese and then the meat on top. So when you eat that sub, you're getting every bit of it right in your mouth. That's what 2 F's, in your mouth.
Best tuna sub. The best
Oh,
tuna sub.
so good.
Miracle
Mark,
Whip.
They
Miracle
really
Whip
are delicious.
instead of mayonnaise.
Speaking of Rob Sub, has the coin shortage affected them at all with giving away their $50?
You know what, Ryan? I'm glad you asked. I can tell you, as of this past Tuesday, it has not affected them. It has not affected them whatsoever. I got my $50, and it went right in my pocket, and I added it to the collection when I got home. So I may be adding to the coin shortage by keeping these $50 to myself.
You might be.
That's why.
I mean, I could share them, but why would I want to?
They absolutely, but they are delicious. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for listening in wherever you do it. Make sure you go to 3countthursday.com. That is our homepage. You will find our merchandise, our Patreon page, our collar and elbow brand deal, and much more. Of course, our home network is NGSC Sports. Until next week, be good to each other. This year has been shitty. It's been rough. Be good to each other. Treat everybody with respect. And until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin.